Favorites now, Noah Kravitz out in Oakland, California, editor-in-chief of PhoneDog.com. He knows all things phones. All things phones. I can't even say it, but you know what I'm talking about, Noah. Noah, thank God you're here because I don't know anything about phones. Sandra, on the other hand, probably does. I know nothing.
Speaking of which, what's your reaction to she was just talking about research in motion in BlackBerry?
I knew, I came prepared today. I've got the new iPhone. I've got all these other phones, and I'm on the hold line, and I heard you say that, and I'm, all right, I'm going to have to pretend I'm a stock analyst for a minute.
Go for it.
I mean, I'm with you on sort of both counts. As long as folks are walking around with BlackBerries, which, everybody I know who's in an enterprise environment, I shouldn't say everybody, but most of them still have BlackBerries. Right. A lot of people now have two phones. They've got a BlackBerry for work and they've got something else,
that's me.
For their personal life.
BlackBerries.
So as long as that's happening, RIM's not going anywhere. But like you said, I don't know if they're quite going the way of Palm, but there is kind of that trend where they're playing catch up right now. And I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends, a lot of my wife's friends have kind of come to know me, or my wife's colleagues' friends, people kind of second removed, come up to me at work events or whatever, and like, hey, I don't mean to bug you, but I hear you're the phone guy. I've got a BlackBerry. I can't get on, the web browsing's terrible. What should I get? Yeah. I'm getting that a lot. And that's the thing that's really hurting RIM right now, I think, is that the iPhones, the Androids, their enterprise solutions are getting better. So you can actually use an iPhone or an Android phone in a lot of corporate environments now, iPhone in particular. But the flip side is, the RIM phones, for personal use, people are getting iPhone envy or whatever, getting a little tired of them. So they've got some new stuff coming out, but it's been kind of it's been coming out for a long time. It's not out yet. So they need to make a push for the holidays, I think, to reestablish themselves as we're not just Yeah,
but wait, and because I'm one of those people that's starting to get iPhone envy. I am a double BlackBerry girl. But I'm a technological idiot. So you have the iPhone. I feel like every year we got a new one. I feel like every day there's a new Droid. There's a new Android phone coming out.
Tell me
People
about
like
it, yeah.
me feel like I just don't even know where to begin, so I do nothing. So it creates inertia.
Sure.
So if I had to buy a phone today, what would you get?
Well, I'll show you a couple of the new ones real quick. I know we're on Skype, so it's not a big screen. This is the Htc Aria, which I'll hold it up next to the new iPhone, and you can see it's an Android phone, but it's very small. It's pocket size. So it's kind of neat because it has all the power, and it's quite responsive, but it's very pocketable. On the other end of the spectrum, this is the new Motorola Droid X. This was just launched at an event. Verizon had an event earlier this week. All I do these days is go to hotel conference rooms for these press launches. And so this thing, I'll hold it up next to the Aria. It's huge. It's 4.3 inches. It runs Android. It's on Verizon. It comes out in mid-July. So you kind of have your two ends of the spectrum here. Couple others. This one's coming out. It'll be launched next week in New York for the U.S. market. It's called the Samsung Galaxy S. And this is basically, it's been kind of derided as an iPhone clone in a lot of ways. The look of it, the black with the chrome and the, camera on the back and the icons on the screen. But it's also an Android phone. It's incredibly lightweight, and it has a nice, big, vivid screen. I don't know if you followed with Apple, their new iPhone, they have this thing called the Retina display, and now Samsung has this technology called Super AMOLED, and so these display technologies are fighting it out. So this is the latest from Samsung. So to answer your question, there is no simple answer, but there are a lot of choices. And in a lot of ways, even though it's a little confusing, what's nice is that it's getting to a point where you don't necessarily have to jump from carrier to a different carrier to get a certain phone. A lot of people, well, I don't want to go to AT&T, but I really want the iPhone.
Hey, Noah.
Well, now, yeah.
What are your thoughts on, folks out there who are concerned about their security and their anonymity when it comes to these devices? Obviously, big news recently was some big names that were revealed, iPad owners. There was some folks who hacked into the AT&T website. There is security concern out there. Are you worried about that?
I'm no more worried about it than I am when I use the web on a desktop computer, which is to say, I think you just have to take the same sort of smart precautions. Don't use your last name as your password. Use a strong password. when you're sending things across, there's an adage that I've read a lot. It's not really an adage, but I've read a lot in reference to celebrities and sports stars who have, pictures they'd rather not have show up online. If you're emailing something, don't email something that you're not okay with, the rest of the world potentially reading. I know that sounds a little naive, and we have to work, and we have to send sensitive information around. But it is sort of true, right? Because an email can be forwarded, so just kind of use that common sense. And frankly, it's a little bit of security risk is kind of the ante you have to play. That being said, that's why BlackBerries are still so popular, because there's a little more that IT departments can do, in the enterprise side for, secure information, as opposed to, like I said, iPhones catching up, Android, catching up a little less. But yeah, to me, this is sort of the world we live in. Security concerns are part of it. And I try to use passwords that have lots of upper, lowercase, and numbers in them to, to make them obscure.
Unlike people like me who use the same password across the board. Okay, quickly, because we're going to go to break. So tell us about, what do you think of the new iPhone? Worth it? I mean, people slept out for 2 days, and they had ordered it already. It was crazy.
Yep. Well, I'm talking to you on it right now. So you can tell me if I'm coming through loud and clear or not. I've had mine for about 24 hours now. I picked mine up on a pre-sale at Best Buy, actually. I end around at Apple store to avoid the lines. It worked out. And I found that the call quality, there are issues going around, you can read about it on our website actually, with this thing called the death grip problem, which is if you hold the phone on the bottom here and cover up the antenna band, you lose your bars, and it's an issue, and Apple's response to it has been a little infuriating, to be frank. That being said, I've actually found I get better reception and better voice quality than on the previous iPhone models. So, go figure. Beyond that, it's a little bit smaller. It's the same weight, but because it's kind of thinner, it feels just more solid in the hand. The display is very nice. I don't know if it's going to change the world like PR wants you to think, but it does look quite nice.
All right.
No, we always love hearing from you, and we love you educating us, me in particular, because, again, I know nothing. I still haven't bought anything. I'm still in that inertia.
I'm, okay with the BlackBerry for now. So
I'm starting to feel like I should get up the boat and do something, but, I don't know.
All right, Noah Kravitz, thank you so much for joining us. PhoneDoc.com.
We'll see you, sir. We'll see you soon, no doubt.